Alright, so this is just a quick and short video. I got a BKT-16, and I don't normally do videos like this except for like construction videos and whatnot, but I am amazed, well, pleased with the quality of this knife. It had come with a black finish. It was the baked on epoxy kind of finish, and I didn't like it because I use this knife every day as a tool. For instance, I was actually splitting mortises with this thing today. I mean, it's a 1/4 inch thick, heavy piece of metal. I think it's carbon steel. It takes an edge and it keeps an edge real well. It's easy to sharpen. It's just a really good piece of equipment. I've pried can lights loose from ceiling collars, from roof trusses. You know, I figured when I was giving it that, I figured, you know, if it snaps, it snaps, but damned if I'm going to go walk down a ladder in order to get a drill gun. So I pried. I figured that the knife would snap, but it didn't. It sheared exterior screws, and exterior screws have some serious shear strength to them. But yeah, all in all, it's really good. I didn't like the black epoxy finish that was on there. I'm just guessing that it's epoxy, because if it got dirty, like if I dug in the ground or whatnot, even if I washed it with a Brillo pad and soap and all that, it still kept some of the dirt to it. It's a tough finish, but for me it just wasn't appetizing because, you know, it just looked dirty. So I'd taken some paint stripper and I stripped the epoxy off of it, and at that point I didn't like the color of it. So I'd seen some videos online of guys modifying their Beckers, and they just acid etched it. Some of them put patterns in it and all that kind of stuff. I didn't care. I just put it in some muriatic acid that I had, and gave it a good graying to it. Almost looks like the finish that was on there prior, but not. Now it looks like metal. It looks like a knife. Really like it. Didn't like the sheath that came in it, so I ended up buying a custom leather sheath from a company that used to be called Sky Storm, and now it's called Patriot Leather. And there are some things about it that, you know, I don't really care for. I didn't really care for his customer service. I know it's a small company and I'm a small company, but it just little to be desired as far as communication goes. The timeliness of it, you know, when I ordered it, it was 4 to 6 weeks, and then they were in a transition of moving facilities, which I can understand too. But he didn't send out an email or anything. It was just automatically conjectured that it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks, and it was 8 weeks in 1 day. So it was pushing the envelope on it. You know, I'm patient with it, but at the same time, hold on one sec. At the same time, it's you know, communication is key. It means a lot. So anyway, with the sheath, looks funny. I should have already had the sheath off of me. First of all, I want to show the draw, you know, overhand, underhand, whatever. And again, I use this thing every day. I'm a remodel contractor, and the sheath that came with the VK16 is one of those tactical type sheaths, and I didn't feel comfortable being in and out of various homeowners' houses with what looked like I just jumped out of an airplane, or I was ready to go to war. So this is the sheath. Some of the things that I don't like about it, and I've worn this thing, you can probably tell, I've worn this thing for about 2 months now, and let me just give what I don't like about it. One, if you look, they've got about 1.25 inches of excess material in this thing. So let's do the snaps first. The snaps, clever idea. They call it a quick deployment strap. You pop it and it opens up because of the little elastic that's on there. It just flops. Now, a design flaw, and I think I know how I'm going to mitigate this. When you're drawing the knife, there's a little groove on the knife just below the hilt, the thumb guard there, or finger guard, and this portion of blade catches on the leather. It presses against the back of the sheath, or the front of the sheath, and then doesn't let you pull the knife out. So you have to pull it out pretty much straight. So rapid deployment doesn't make a hill of beans if you can't get the damn knife out of the sheath. So that's one thing. And then the length of it. So if I go ahead and put my thumb here, and then put my thumb, or put the knife there, you can see how much extra material there is on that. It's a waste of leather. I thought at first maybe it's because of shrinkage or something, but the leather is not going to shrink that much. The stitching is good on it. A little bit long, a little bit broad. Really handsome knife. Could be a little bit shorter and a little bit tighter down on the drop point. But a leather sheath is something that I require, being in and out of my clients' houses. Again, it's a utility, but I don't want to look like I'm some kind of tactical person, because I'm not. So the leather sheath is really handsome. I've gotten compliments on it from clients and homeowners. The snap is a little bit tight, and it hadn't loosened up. I figured that they braided it that way in order to allow for stretching. Well, this thing hasn't gotten wet yet. It will, because I kayak. But it's too tight. They could have put these a little bit further back and still had the security of not letting the knife out. And then the last thing that I have an issue with is the location of the belt loop. It's too far forward, so when wearing the knife, it flares the back of it outwards, which I don't like. This should have been drawn back here, so it pulled the knife towards your leg instead of away from your leg. But really, all in all, the craftsmanship is good, the quality of the leather is good, the stain work on the sheath is good, but I would have shortened this up moved these back. How I figure on mitigating the hang up with the knife is running, you can tell the sawdust on this thing, what I do. Right here on the inside of it, I'm going to run a file, and I'm going to shorten that up a little bit, and hopefully that will take care of the hang up with this portion of the knife itself. All in all, good quality sheath. I would change up a couple of things. Everyone's a critic, but I think you know, and maybe it is that he was changing facilities. He's a small business owner, you know, changing facilities because of the quantity of work and all that kind of stuff. Training new people, maybe, but for $80 for the sheath, I think that's a reasonable price to pay for a handsome sheath. Again, I would have changed it up just a little bit. But the knife, so I bought this from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and the people at the K-Bar counter were talking about Becker, and I don't know him from Adam. A lot of these guys will come up with these knife designs, and you know, they'll tout him and tout him and tout him, and the people at the counters will always say, well, you know, best knife on the planet, etc., etc. This one is, they said that, I think his name's John, but anyway, Becker, that he carries the BK16 with him every day. That's his daily carry, and I could see why, because it is an impressive piece of equipment. I mean, I pried can lights out of a ceiling with them and sheared exterior screws. So the shear strength on exterior screws is like 700 or 800 pounds, something very strong, and the knife held up against it and did what I needed it to do in a pinch. So I'd fully recommend this knife. I mean, the only reason I'd seen this knife one time, a buddy of mine does Cerakoting, Matt Nichols. He does Cerakoting, and he had this knife. I got to see him just in passing, and I asked him about it, and he told me what it was, and I thought it was, I mean, it's heavy as hell. It's like a 1/4 inch thick. I really liked it, so I was like, well, hell, I'll test drive it, because you know, I work with tooling all day long, and my in-laws had bought me for Christmas a heli knife, and I had admired that knife, but using it every day, I was chinking the blade, and it's just way too nice of a knife to use as a utility. So I wanted something heavy enough, contractor grade essentially, and this is it. I really liked it. I didn't buy it for anything other than that. The K-Bar name is some, I mean, I own a K-Bar. It's in my truck. They've been around a long time. They make a quality product. Whoever this Becker guy is, his design, I mean, he did it, because this piece of equipment is a heavy grade of steel, and the quality of the steel, the metallurgy in it, it takes an edge and it keeps an edge, so it does everything that you would want it to do. I think it's a pretty good outfit, and I'm not bashing on this Skystorm Patriot Leather company at all. I just, you know, his lack of communication, and again, I know that he was switching facilities and all that kind of stuff, so that probably plays a big role in it. But if I can't take orders from my clients and then expect that I wouldn't have to call them. I've gotten so busy before that I wasn't able to communicate, and I've lost projects because of it. So something that I stress with anybody that I work with, et cetera, is communication, open lines of communication, keeping those lines of communications going. His were lacking. I wasn't terribly impressed. Leather work is great. A couple of things that I would change, but that's just me, and I'm not a leathersmith. There might be reasons why he did it that particular way. I couldn't understand why. I've tried to put some thought into it. Again, I've carried this for a couple of months. I've tried to put some thought into it, and I just don't really get it. All in all, I would probably buy from him again. All in all, if I ever snap that Becker knife, which I doubt I can, but if I do, I'll buy another one. I think he's got a lifetime replacement. I have no idea. Probably not against abuse. And if you're going to snap a knife that's a 1/4 inch thick in half, then you've probably been doing something that the tool is not meant for. But all in all, I've been thinking about putting this together for a while, and there it is. That's it.